Hey y'all, welcome back to Dixie Garage. On this episode, we're going to do a budget bobber build out of a Honda Shadow 1100. So we're working with basically a stock 90s model Honda. This one's got pipes on it, grips. He switched it over to like 12-inch apes or something like that. And so it's got some minor things, but for the most part, that's what you're looking at for a stock Honda. Nothing's bolted up, of course. I set everything back on there just to show y'all, but what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show y'all a cool little trick for how to chop this fender and get rid of these struts to where you have an automatic bobber fender. It's perfect every time. It's probably the easiest way to go about it. You don't have to buy anything other than, cutting wheel and stuff. I'm gonna show y'all a paint job, and then I'm gonna show you a cheap alternative to doing, like, say, a satin black paint job. This one's one we've already done a single carb conversion. Basically, this whole video is gonna be kind of walking you through how to buy a bike for, say, $1,500 that needs carburetor work, and then bob it out. Build your own custom bike out of that. This thing has some like oil-based paint brushed on it. I don't know if the camera truly catches how bad that is, but it's bad. Dents, there's a couple. So I'm gonna show y'all that stuff. I forgot my tripod, so I need y'all to kind of be patient with me on this, but give y'all a true story. So you can't make this up. This is 100%. I always have a bike for sale. Anybody who knows me, everybody in my neighborhood, those of y'all who regularly subscribe to these videos have seen people just stop and start talking to me about bikes while I'm filming, Most of the time I leave it. I don't even edit it out because it's funny. People just stop and want to ask about the bikes or drop off motorcycle parts at 9 o'clock at night. This has all happened. So this lady stopped by the other day, pulls in, nice white truck, has $3,000 in her pocket. Wanted to know what bike I had for sale. Well, hell, for the first time ever, I don't have a bike for sale. So I told her, give me till next weekend, and I'm going to make something happen with this Honda over here. So I've got a week to get this done. This is going to show y'all, in this video, is going to show y'all how to do it for a budget, but how to do it quickly. I'm going to do, of course, my professional grade paint jobs, but I'm going to show y'all how to use rattle cans to do a basic paint job. Paint to paint, it's all the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's aerosol or if it's coming out of a gun. The concepts are all the same. You can do almost the same quality with a rattle can, just I like my way. But I've done my fair share of rattle can paint jobs. So, yeah, I'm going to show y'all how to do it both ways. I have like a Virago 250 tank from the Virago chopper. I'm going to use that to show y'all how to do a rattle can paint job. And then we've already seen the single carb, but I got a different single carb for this one. Walk over here, show y'all this. I picked this one up. Now, the brand was JIK. I don't know if that said JIK or if it is just JIK. I'm not really sure. But it's still a CV40, but this one has the choke and a spot to mount the choke. I always end up just siliconing the choke. But this thing had really good reviews. The other one that I usually use doesn't have good reviews. So it's got like 3-star reviews. So I figured I'd try something else. Like I say, a CV40 is pretty much a CV40. I know a lot of people have a poor opinion of the Chinese knockoff carburetors and stuff. And I've had a couple bad ones, but for the most part, I've had good luck with them. So we're going to see how this one works out. I never use a choke, but it'd be nice to have, I guess. This lady might want it. This bike originally, like I told y'all, it's got like brushed on oil-based barn paint or some shit. Now, it had this VTX front fender on there that was held on with conduit type shit. It was crazy. Yeah, the dude I bought this from had like 2 teeth. So it's had its fair share of rigging done. But it's going to be pretty basic. It gives y'all an ideal starting point. Also, a quick rundown for my regular subscribers. I am making progress with the CJ. It's just been kind of slow. I got spark plugs. As you see, I bedlinered the front fenders. I bought 4 tires for it. Haven't mounted them, obviously. Got carburetor right there. That's battery cables. I'm making progress with it. Just not as fast as I would like or y'all would like. I would like to get more videos up on it, but Got the hood covered in dust, but it's on its second layer of primer. Got the turn signal kit, LED tail lights, LED headlights. So we'll make more progress on it soon, I promise you. It's just kind of been a little hectic, a little crazy, but she will be sweet one day. First step for the fender. The only hole here you actually need, fender strut's gonna go, the only hole here that you actually need is this one. Doesn't really matter where on the fender you actually cut, really right about probably here is fine. And I'm gonna show y'all exactly how to do that. Let me make this cut. So I know you're thinking, well, that wasn't precise at all. What the hell was that? How does that help me? You know, that wouldn't look bad if I put it back about where it should be, huh? I mean, that's okay. You end up with these sharp edges. You can mess with that if you want, and you got all this to clean up. Well, that just needs to go, really. So here's what you do on these Hondas, the way I've done it in the past. The bottom side, right? You just get rid of the top altogether, really. What's originally the back, and you end up flipping it. Well, now you have this perfect line with round edges. Everything's done for you already. You clean up this top part, you'll end up touching it up with a little Bondo. After you get rid of these struts, you still have these frame horns. That's what you need. That's all you need. And there it goes. It lines up right in there. After you drop the bike 3 inches or so, you end up with that. Perfect bobber. Now I'm going to take a wheel, clean up some of these tabs. I'm not going to worry too much about the stuff at the bottom. You can't really see it. What you see is the sides up top right here. That's all that really matters. That's what has to look good. A total strip down really isn't necessary. Like I say, this bike had like some oil-based brushed on crap. Don't ever brush paint on your bikes, guys. Don't do that. I don't talk bad about people's builds really, but don't do that. I don't even understand what makes anybody think that's okay. Spray, and I'm going to show y'all how to spray, but do it right. You know, if it's a rattle can, that's fine. Paint is paint, but do it right. You know, so you brush paint on a house, you don't brush it on a motorcycle. You definitely don't use like barn paint or whatever this is. I'm not sure how many layers are on here. And like I said, it's a budget build. I'm not going to spend all day stripping this tank. Normally I would use the aircraft paint remover and just get it down to bare metal. But I got most of this oil-based stuff off. I got it to a point to where it's pretty smooth. So right now I'm going to fix my body damage, and then we're going to prime it. Find your dents. Once everything's already been worked down like that, make a little X pattern. Pretty thick grit, 60-40 grit, whatever you use. Make sure it is scuffed real good right there, because you want that Bondo to dig in. So I'm using U-pole body filler. Got a good little glob there. Put a little bit through it. Once that starts to look pretty bluish, greenish, something along that, wipe it on. So as you can see, I'm on my third wipe of Bondo now. Certain spots only require one, but when you have bigger dents like that and they're that close together, you end up with like ripples, imperfections that are caused in between these two dents. And so it's kind of been, you know, I had to tap a couple down. Bodywork's pretty self-explanatory. Literally, you're constantly feeling. If you can feel smooth, everything feels like straight, you know you're good. If you feel something that feels like maybe it's raised or lowered or whatever, take a block to it, and this means it's high. You know, anytime you see a spot that's gone down to metal and everything else still has color, that means high. If you feel it still, you might have to tap it down with a hammer. You don't need a hard hit, just tap it. Now, I've got other videos that I've done that show y'all more about doing body work, past videos on painting. I'm not going to go super into detail on painting on this video. I just want to show y'all all together, start to finish, a budget build, because I have seen posts asking like, well, what should I do? How should I do this? Don't have a lot of money, whatever. So for those of y'all, this video is for y'all, man. I'm showing you how to do the entire thing there's a $1,500 bike. I'm gonna show you how to do a cheap paint job overall. Of course, my professional grade paint jobs start at $1,250. Obviously that goes against budget build. That's pretty much the cost of that bike right there. But you know, you're talking about a $1,500 bike. If you rattle can it, you can do it yourself for around $100. And then you're talking about little accessories, like you can do ape hangers, you know, some cool ones, Z-bars maybe, whatever. You can do stuff like that. You can buy actual lower end struts. You can buy progressive shocks that drop it while still giving you some suspension. Springer seat, I think I have one I'm gonna recycle if it fits right. If it looks good, I'll probably do that. But really, whole thing start to finish, I'm trying to show y'all how to do this entire job, buying the bike and everything for like $2 grand. That's really the goal right here. We're ready to spray. We're done with the primer. Everything's been blocked, wet sanded. For more information on how to do all that paint, you can go back to the videos of, say, the Boulevard C50. There's other paint videos. There's several paint videos where I go very into detail on how to do the paint jobs. To show y'all the difference, though, on this budget build of, like, professional grade, this is the wax and grease remover that I always use for everything. You can get that at pretty much any paint store. I even think O'Reilly's might carry it. Might not be Advantage brand, but O'Reilly's probably carries that in Master Pro, I would guess. Or for a cheaper wrap, you can pretty much find absolutely anything in a rattle can, all of it, except for, you know, of course, lacquer thinner, but you don't need that actually if you're not cleaning a gun. So yeah, everything I use you can find, say, wax and grease remover, you can find on the shelf over at AutoZone, O'Reilly's, whatever. And then I'm gonna show y'all the rattle can paint job after this. I'm gonna go ahead and, because there is a customer buying this one, so I am going to do this in my top quality way of doing it. But I'm going to show y'all how a rattle can goes too, and you can probably get a pretty good looking paint job out of that still. You know, not show quality, but it's still going to look good. So. Day 2, got these pieces out here, making sure they get a good bake in the sun. I'm about to do these struts on the bike. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna get these struts off, and then I'm gonna do hardtail struts. About to measure that and see how much we need to take off. So right now, center of the hole to center of the hole, we're looking at 12 1/4. We're gonna want to drop it at least 3 inches. So I'm gonna say we're gonna go down to 10 1/4, but then we're gonna make the holes 10. And yeah, that should give us a solid drop. Put that fender probably only about maybe an inch above that tire. Now that those are cut, gotta drill the holes. Gonna make them exactly 10 inches from center to center in the hole. So for the paint part, we have this Virago 250 tank. I'm not gonna bother doing any body work or priming it or anything. This is just an example. A lot of guys are into flat black. That's kind of the cool thing to do for a bobber. I think it's overdone and it kind of makes it not cool anymore. But if you're into flat black, this is the way to go. This is the best stuff you can get out of a can. I've put this in several videos. When I do frames, wheels, forks, this is what I use. So great stuff. You can get at Lowe's, Walmart, wherever. Paint is pretty standard process, really. You always want to do a 50-50 overlap and stay anywhere from 6 to 10 inches away. It really depends what you're spraying and how it sprays. When it comes to a rattle can, you really can't shake it up too much. No such thing. Let's see how it sprays. So you want to start, I like to start at the bottom. That's really up to you, however you start. But go there, First one you dust it. Like I say, I didn't prep this or nothing. Ideally, you would do it exactly like any other bodywork. So that's it for your first one. It's a dust coat. All right, it's been 15 minutes. That's about standard time for a satin color. 10 to 15 minutes is perfect. So, same thing, keep that 50-50. Let that dry for about another 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll come back and put the last coat on it. So had we body worked and primed this beforehand, you'd be looking at an absolutely perfect satin black paint job. That's the goal right there. So now for the colors, I just got some duplicolor stuff from AutoZone. Pretty simple, pretty cheap. I think it was like 10-15 bucks each can. So we're talking about $20-30 right there, or roughly, you know, 10 bucks or so for a satin black. But you got to prime it first, you got to prep it, you want to clean your surface. I didn't do any of that, and that still turned out pretty good. So now we're going to flip the sides. Let's say this tank is purely just as an example. And once again, I'm not even gonna prime it or nothing. First coat, dust coat. So for a $30 paint job, I didn't sand this, prime it, prep it, anything. Didn't even wipe it down. But other than seeing the little chips that were there before, that's a pretty smooth looking paint job. Got some orange peel, of course, and you know, I can see if it'll buff if anybody's curious. But yeah, for a $30 paint job, that's the way to go. All right, still got to get a bath. Clean all the engine and everything off like that, you know, make those final touches look good. But other than that, that's what we're looking at, guys, as promised. Super sweet Honda bobber for absolute minimum cost. And as for this new carburetor, I do like it.